So I believe that payment is the founding stone for any economy. And for an on-chain economy, we need a robust on-chain payment system as well. So basically, that is going to be the topic of discussion here. And I'll let these guys introduce themselves and their product for you once.
Hey, thank you so much. I'm Sid, I'm the founder of Suave, and at Suave we're making it super simple for anyone to accept any token from any chain. And that means if you're building a dApp, you no longer have to think about where your users are, you think about the technology and the chain you're building on. And you let us handle all of the token swaps, whether it's through bridging, AMMs, and by leveraging market makers, as you've seen here today, so that you just have to think about where you're gonna build, and we take care of the rest. And thanks for having us here today.
Hey, hi. I'm Bharat, like founder of OnMeta. So we build on and off ramp solutions for India, particularly for the Web3 companies. So we integrate with crypto wallets where people can able to convert their INR into the tokens. So we are building this for the last couple of years. We integrated with like a bunch of wallets like Coinbase, Bitgate, OKX, including the CoinDCX Octa wallet as well. Yeah. Thanks, man.
So yesterday, Coinbase had actually posted an ad in which a grandson was in Portugal and he didn't have the money to pay. And the grandmother was sending the money from USA to Portugal at that moment itself, and he got the money within seconds. So they are like solving the major problem of cross-border payments, in which usually it takes like 3-4 days to money to get there. So did you guys have any real life issues, or like what motivated you guys to solve a problem that you're solving now, of let it be cross-chain operability or like on-ramping and off-ramping solutions?
Yeah, so I'll give a little bit of history. Previously to founding this company, I worked at Jump, and over there in special projects, our goal was to look at the most critical problems facing the crypto industry and go and address those. And so the most fundamental problem that crypto is supposed to solve is peer-to-peer cash, peer-to-peer payments. And even 10 years after the Bitcoin white paper had come out, that hadn't become a reality. And so we started looking at what businesses could really leverage crypto payments. And in particular in the US and even here in India, where you have a very robust financial institution and network system, there comes down to what are the disadvantages of paying with your credit card or your debit card versus being able to pay in crypto. And so we started looking at businesses that are extremely low margin, right? Where you can remove a lot of these transaction fees by taking transactions in Solana, for example, right? And we saw that the main problems that you have is that there's a lack of proper incentive alignment. When you have your traditional credit card payments, you're getting a huge number of advantages. Firstly, you're getting 30 days of a loan, which you have no interest you're paying on, right? You have chargebacks if there's any fraud. It's universally accepted, right? And so these advantages don't foresee themselves into crypto very easily. And so you start working down the value chain. You look at traditional payments, brick and mortar stores, then you go to e-commerce, and then internally, even at Jump, when we were building our own DeFi products, we saw how difficult it was to be able to build something on Solana and then attract users from all these other chains. And so realizing that, we thought, okay, if it's challenging even in the crypto economy to accept crypto, well, we have to solve that first. And if we don't solve that effectively, we won't even have the opportunity to go forward and align the incentives in the traditional economy. So that's how we started off. We looked at brick and mortar, we looked at gas stations, we went to e-commerce, looked at companies like Amazon, and eventually landed on, we have to fix this in the crypto industry first before you can then branch out.
I'll just go one step further. Like that is moment like after the people enter into the crypto. Like first thing, like I saw the solutions for people entering into come to the chain itself, right? So for me, it's more about incidental. When we started a couple of years before, I was just exploring the blockchain and trying to play with the NFTs and all this. I couldn't able to buy anything out of it, right? My all credit cards are getting rejected, and my Indian bank accounts, debit cards are getting rejected, like because like we were using the US on and off ramp providers. Then like we saw like who is solving this? Like someone should solve this, right? Very bunch of people like try to solve this, but couldn't happen. Then we kind of let's solve this problem, right? Because this is the first problem. There is a Web3 evolution is happening at that point of time. People wanted to try it, but no one can't able to get into that ecosystem itself, right? Because like people can't able to convert the INR into the tokens. Then only you can access DeFi, gaming, like Suave, bridge, like anything which you can able to do it. Right? This is the first step. Like if you wanted to get into the Web3 ecosystem. So we thought, okay, this is a more than a good to have, it's a must to have problem. If this bridge is not there, then how people are going to, like enter into the ecosystem, right? They can't able to do it. So that was my entry point, like where I face myself to, like problem. Then like we are trying to solve very slowly in that. But yeah, because like along with the regulations we have to go with, like we don't know, we can't just move ahead and do all this stuff, right? So that's what my moment, how I entered into the crypto space. Yeah.
Bharat, carrying on the regulatory part itself, as your focus market is India, and there are a lot of tax regulations and a lot of gray areas as well in India when it comes to law, especially related to crypto. So, how big of an hindrance is regulation to crypto being accepted as a global mode of payment? And what do you think are decisions that should be taken on a global consensus level so that crypto will be accepted and the future of payment through crypto can foster?
See, let's try to understand what government is trying to do right, in India, especially, right? I mean, prior to this, like, I was in the founding team of Rapido, right, which is a bike taxi, like completely in the gray area and all that stuff. So now in this space, like, where, like when we started, nothing was there, like. Like obviously, like, everything seems to be like gray is like almost like illegal. Then we have to say it's like no, this is happening across other countries, right? So right now, for the cross-border thing is happening. Like last couple of years, what we are seeing is there are a lot of people are trying to solve the cross-border thing via the stable coins, and yes, that solves the quick transactions. And remove all the middlemen, like whoever is inside there, and completely move the transaction, right? I mean, basically, like whoever is like trying to get more cut out of it, right? This too solves the problem very, very wonderful. Why cross borders are working immediately is because at least in India we are very fortunate having the UPI, because other countries are still trying to make this stable coins as an UPI product, right? Why UPI? Instant settlement, right? I hope many of the founders worked with like bunch of Stripe or other these things. It's like 7-day settlement. Why do someone will hold 7 days for the settlement, right? I mean, like this user is paying us, like why you hold it? Like give it the money back, right? That's how pretty much UPI solved that, right? And that is the stablecoin evolution in the other countries. Like they are building UPI kind of a product via with the stablecoins. Now, as a faster thing, as a disruptions, like yeah, the cross-border is opening it up, and yeah, we are getting more inward remittance in that aspect, and the reason is like why these players are coming, because users wants, like I wanted to send the money, let it reflect very quickly, right? I mean, and only the Indian NRIs only know like what is the effect of the UPI, right? Like still most of the global was like, okay, it's a 3 days payments, I am ready to wait for it. No, like the whoever is face that UPI thing, like they can't go back and say I can wait for 3 days or 4 days. So on the regulation front, what I think is like one is the classification of the assets. That's like what stables how you are going to classify it, and non-stables how you are going to classify it. That would help like how we like framing the policy further. Second is like in the service providers level, right? Like now we all service providers who is in the India like are called as in virtual asset service provider, right? But there's a different licensing happens in the other world, like where like a money transmitter license, there is an exchange license, there is so on. So these two classifications pretty much will put us in the place like how do we do it? Yes, global, if you talk about the crypto payments, that's a pretty much big topic to say, like, and I don't think it's as at least Indian government says, like it can't be solved by only one government, because you pay to the Netflix without Netflix having a bank account in India. Like how do you collect the tax and all that stuff, right? I mean, that's pretty much, I don't want to get it into there, but yeah, like, yeah.
Yeah, I think UPI is great if you're within India, right? And it would be, you could make the argument that if there was a UPI globally, that would be a fantastic way of paying, right? You would have one government who's controlling all of these transactions, and there would be a seamless process, and everyone would be happy. But you're not getting the censorship resistance, right? And for myself and our team that's come, not being able to use UPI is a huge hindrance, right? It was actually easier to travel to India before because we'd get better credit card coverage, and now a lot of places won't accept international credit cards. We need to have more cash on us. And so in a lot of ways, it's a great technology for people here, but it's also an isolating technology in a lot of ways. And so what works in India may not be something that works in Europe, where you have a lot more of a cross-border movement between people.
Since Bharat, you focused on stable coins, right? This is an open question to both of you. So there are different type of stable coins like collateralized, over-collateralized, decentralized, algorithmic. Do you see the future of stable coins led by any such protocol, or do you think everyone will coexist? And I mean, stable coins are huge. They are like third biggest in the market cap, right? And there are also a lot of risks involved with stable coins as well. Like you don't know about the audit. Like most of there is a gray area there as well, where there is so much risk involved. And do you believe that in future a black swan event may occur regarding stable coins?
So, yeah, I mean, like, lot of things are happening on the stable coins, right? But what I see is from the retailer user point of view, right? I was just discussing with some founders, like, I mean, like, he pushed his own capital to his own wallet where he lost the private keys. Now he wants to go back to Circle and ask, like, hey, like, that is my USDC. I will prove you all these things. I lost that private keys. Like, can you just burn it and put it onto this things, right? I feel it's irreversible, the transactions, but somewhere I feel like for the mass adoption where we need a safety of, okay, we can able to get it back if I made a mistake over there, right? Because it's inevitable, like if you say, hey, like 100%, like you can't just make a mistake. Whoever is building in that, having that mindset, I think that will bring more mass adoption. Even from the government also, they should not be fined, right? I mean, like, even like I send it to someone by just something, get a mistake, like I can able to do it right now with the banks. I can't able to do it with it, but I think this is how things will evolve. Even earlier days back, we can't do it with the bank also. Now bank have some sort of, within 7 days, if you do it, you can able to retract because they will go to the counterparty, they will talk, they will stop. All these things I myself faced it. So whoever is built, I would say if it is it should be obviously pegged. That's what my view is. And there are few elements needs to be there where it like ensures the customer's safety. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll answer this question a little bit differently. I think most stablecoins are just shitcoins that the Fed is going to print and is going to devalue your currency over time, but you're willing to accept that devaluation for some ethereal concept of stability. And so if you're willing to hold a shitcoin that's going to decrease in value over time, but you like the idea of the Fed having more control over that rather than free markets, then that's certainly something that you can choose to participate in. Now, we are seeing more yield-bearing US dollar stablecoins, but ultimately, it's a great gateway to get into crypto, and stablecoins are increasing, especially in developing countries where the local currency is extremely unstable, especially in Nigeria and Argentina. But at some point, there is a desire to break out of relying on a central government to issue this currency if we are really going to progress towards the ethos of the crypto space and have our own market forces govern the stability or lack of stability of our coins.
So just asking over that what you said. So don't you think DAI is a solution for stable coins that you like are shit coins? Because most of the amount that is backed and is over collateralized as well is through cryptocurrencies as well. So do you think that's a solution, or do you think in future some more or other technology will come up that will give a solution for stable coins that we don't have to rely on, the other Fed currencies that are coming out, fiat.
That if DAI is pegged to US dollars, then the value of DAI is still controlled by the Fed. It doesn't matter if it's over collateralized.
Yeah, hello. So, Sid, this question is a little specific to yourself. So, do you think the future of crypto or payment through blockchain being led by one single chain, which might come up in future, which has all that has to offer, or do you think in future also most of it will be multi-chain, like operating together?
Yeah, so at Suave, we focus on multi-chain, and so I hope that it will be multi-chain, and otherwise I'm out of a job. But there hasn't been this singular chain that has won dominance over others, and there's many reasons for that. There's a lot of different, like any technology, there's pros and cons of choosing any particular chain to build on. But ultimately, in order to have the maximum amount of freedom and accessibility to pay, the user shouldn't have to think about what token they have. They shouldn't have to think about what wallet they have or what chain they're on. You simply want to get to a point where there's value transfer. And all of the other work that needs to be done needs to be obfuscated away. And so when I come from the US and I use my Visa card here, I don't have to think about the conversion rates. I don't have to think about, are they using Wells Fargo Bank or are they using ICICI Bank and am I using Amex? It should all work seamlessly together. And so what we want to do is remove all of that, abstract all of that away. So you pay in whatever currency you want, regardless of what chain you're on, regardless of which wallet you're using. And everything else is taken care of by us, such that the merchant always receives the token that they desire. So yes, I think it will be multi-chain. I think it'll be multi-token, because you need that in order to have the full expressivity of what value you would like to be holding and what risk profile every individual person and business would like to reflect themselves.
Hello? Yeah. The next question is, what do you think are the major hindrances for businesses to accept crypto as a payment? And do you think this will change in future? And what are the steps that will be needed to be taken so that that future is there, where businesses can easily accept cryptos as a mode of payment?
I can talk about the India market, so you can, yeah. So, I mean, see, the first hindrance is for business will go as per what retailers wanted, right? Right now, what are the avenues for the retailers to get tokens into their custody wallet? That itself is a bleak over here, which we are trying to solve it. A lot of big exchanges can't able to do the withdrawal because of certain things on the regulations, right? I think if that gets eased, I think that will push the businesses to accept it, right? I mean, the businesses motto is okay, if everything is fair, if a user wants to pay it, who pushed the UPI thing? Who pushed the card thing? Who pushed the cash all these things happens because user has only that. He is ready to pay it. Then business bound to accept it. So that things needs to change where people holding the tokens, then business will automatically change. Not the reverse way, where business starts first, okay, I'll accept it, so and so. But business, why they will do it? Because of, as I said earlier, because of the faster settlement, they hold it on chain, they get yield out of it. Those things kind of help it, at least for the India market, yeah.
I think you made a great point, which is it is consumer driven, right? As a business, you want to accept any form of payment you can, given the user is willing to pay it, right? Now, when we look at specific reasons why business would struggle to accept crypto, I think one I've already highlighted, which is the tons of different tokens, the volatility you have to deal with, that we try to solve. But the other is there's a few different industries in which you are particularly advantageously inclined to accept crypto. So one of them is SIN businesses, which often get debanked in the US. And so if you're debanked, you're removed from the economy, you're removed from being able to conduct business. And so you're at the behest of whatever the government or the institutions are of that country. And when you're in a country like India or the US, where it tends to be more stable, you could say, that may not be a daily occurrence of an issue for you. But I can speak to one, which is, marijuana was legalized in the US just a few years ago at a state level, not at the federal level. But even then, the businesses are still not able to bank. And so they're accepting cash, or they have an ATM on site, which means they have to deal with bulk loads of cash that they have to go take to the bank if they are even able to get banked. And so you have all these struggles where you're at the behest of not even the local laws, but the bureaucracy. And the ability to have payments and sort of the free flow of money is, I think, integral to your freedom of expression. And if you remove that freedom of expression, then you're back in the control of the government. And the government will not actively choose to give up power that they don't have to.
I personally believe that a lot of education and awareness is necessary for users to come up and like choose this as a mode of payment. Because if you think at UPI itself, a lot of people were afraid at the beginning to accept UPI. And the government and the other merchants who were like providing the service had to put a lot of effort to create that awareness and the education that this is a safe way. Because it's like physically when you get money, you know the money is here. Then came credit cards, you got the receipts. In UPI, you just got a screenshot or like on your screen that is there. So it's all a belief system, right? And same with e-commerce also. When it started in India, I believe the first purchase I made was a book. And my parents were so afraid that it will never arrive. It was through Flipkart, yeah. So I think a lot of education and awareness on the same is needed. Going on a little different track to this topic, recently I was reading a tweet about AI agents having a mind share of around 30% recently in the crypto space. This question is not about AI agents, but do you think there are possibilities of AI to be integrated into crypto payment system? And what are those opportunities that are there? And how do you see a future in which AI and the crypto or like blockchain payment works together?
Yeah, so AI has an ability now to be able to do autonomous functions for us, right? And different companies are developing different ways to be able to build and execute on specific tasks. So if I'll give you an example, let's say I want to be able to take a photo of something and immediately purchase that item online, right? I may use an AI agent that first takes that photo and sends it to a processor, right? It sends it to another AI agent that says, tell me what's in this image. Then it gets that information back. Then it sends it to another one that says, tell me all the places where this item is sold. And that AI agent gives me a list of prices. And then the last one goes and makes the purchase. These can all be independent agents that don't need to have prior relationships with each other if they're able to easily communicate between each other, which APIs have already made possible, but also transact with each other. If I have to create a new account in a billing system for every single agent I'm going to interact with, that limits the pool of agents I can interact with. And it requires a human in the loop to determine which ones it should and shouldn't use. As opposed to having crypto payments, which is just programmable money, it lends itself extremely well to AI agents, which can then easily transact and cooperate and be able to get the results faster for us at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, for me, transaction is, yeah, of course, whatever, I'll double click on that. I mean, it's more about like how do you, again, the India's problem is the cybercrime. So like how do you do the fraud prevention, right? So that's what more I am curious, or at least as a team, we are working on it. Because even for on and off ramp, that's itself is a main piece for it. Hey guys, like, a lot of things are happening under you, but like how do you going to fix it out, right? And with the current, whatever the existing KYCs and all those things, can't stop it, because a lot of things have been, now everyone has started using AI, right? So everything is kind of, like trying to hack the systems, right? So we have to deploy the AI over there as a friend food, like where that will help, that will give the, remove the headache from the regulations, so that they'll give a green flag to, okay guys, now it's fine, now you can run this company because we don't face any problems, so now it's fine, right? So that is one thing. And if you see, again, from the discussion from the bunch of the founders, like, let's say if you go back onto the Uber days when the credit card used to get locked, right, the moment you take the ride, but the money doesn't move to the provider, right? I think those kind of a things should be there, which is possible only via the crypto wallets, where you can instruct the agent, hey, the moment the food gets delivered, then you process it. Why now you process it and the food doesn't get delivered? Now that is a bad experience for the user, and even the provider have to pay even for the collecting the money and the refunding the money. Both ways the provider, the platform is getting charged, right? And and who the platform is charges from, again from the user, right? So, there are few things which will, like it'll be more easy if you have this AA agents on the programmable wallets, I would say. I mean, that's the future which I'm going to see now, yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting actually. So that's what smart contracts do, right? Let the food arrive, the payment goes through. So if there's an oracle that could be like made through AI in which such a way that the information comes through it and it provides the info to the smart contract to give away the payment, that will be really interesting as well. Yeah. So we have come to the final question of the day. Do you guys think there are any unexplored opportunities in the crypto payment space that somebody can solve for a person or like an entrepreneur who's looking to solve a problem in this space?
I think the biggest one is under collateralized lending. I think what credit cards have done extremely well is provide you a free 30-day loan, and that isn't possible right now in crypto, and I think that requires an effective credit scoring system, and if we can do that, then you really chip away at the main value prop that credit cards have.
Yeah, the lending is a very big thing, right? Because like with that to the cross-border lending, it's like unlock a lot of stuffs, and like that's one thing which I also see. For me, again, fundamentals on the level of like how this frauds, like how we can able to cut it down. And second thing is like I see because of this crypto blockchain and everything, like the financial ecosystem is going to. I mean, we are going to see the new thing now, right? Now everything will be getting rebranded. Everything will be run by this AAA stuffs and all this thing. So yeah, I mean, like we have to post this AA kind of a stuff. Like every business model have to rethink like how this can be disrupted with the view of an AA agent, right? Earlier it used to be like people have to write a big lot of lines of code, and over the period people kind of brings the quality code, and a lot of plugins are there. Now a lot of things have been getting automated and all this stuff. So yeah, I mean, curious to see what's there. Yeah.